Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll repeat it. Welcome to the regular meeting of the City of Independence Board of Adjustment. The board was created by the city charter to hear applications for variances from the zoning ordinance requirements and to hear and render decisions on interpretations of the requirements of the zoning ordinance. The board consists of 5 voting members. It requires 4 affirmative votes for approval of any variance or interpretation. All cases on the agenda will be heard in the order listed. The order of proceeding for each case shall be as follows. City staff will make a brief presentation outlining the application. The applicant shall present their case. Persons in favor of the ordinance shall present their evidence. Persons opposed to the variance shall present their evidence. The applicant shall be given a rebuttal period. The public hearing will be closed and no further testimony will be accepted. The normal procedure is that the board will discuss and take action on the application. All meetings of the board are open to the public. Anyone in the audience, for any reason, wishes to speak before the board tonight, please stand and take the oath. So anyone that wants to speak before the board tonight.
Make a presentation. You be sworn in right now. Okay. No,
not now.
You stand up there.
Oh, you just stand up there where you're...
You're going to speak, stand up and be sworn in.
If any of you are going to stand and talk before the board. Okay. And the oath, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth in all matters pertaining to the cases before this Board of Adjustment? Please say, I do. Okay, thank you. Please be seated. All right, we got the roll call here. Aaron Crossley.
Here.
Jack Lehman.
Here.
Robert Jones, that's me here. John Davies.
Here.
And Roy Brown.
Here.
All right, so we go to the first applicant on the agenda tonight, which is, I guess it's Louis Montego. Is that how you pronounce it? Montego. I guess, do I give him the address and everything? Sure. The 1943 South Harvard Avenue, and then the other address, you've got 2 addresses, 11116 East 20th Street South. Property zoning is R12, 2-family residential. Property acreage is 2,500ths of an acre. I don't need to go on all that, okay? So, do they come up now? And Stuart,
I have a show to do. If Mr. Crossley, can you turn off the overhead lights there?
Yeah, we got a presentation here first.
Okay, this is the applicant's property. It's on the northeast corner of Harvard and 20th Street. The little red circle or oval shows the location. Sterling is just to the east a block. And 23rd Street is down 2 or 3 blocks from, well, 4 or 5 blocks from there. This is the zoning map for the areas. You can see that it's all zoned R12s, 2-family dwelling. The applicant's property, again, is in the oval, and there's the street designations for that streets around the site. This is the plat that their surveyor did for them. It shows the proposed lot. Lot 5 would be divided into Lot 5C and then Lot 5D. As you can see from the aerial, there's a house on the front and then what you could call the garage house on the rear, which is the right side. This shows we're standing here in the middle of the street at 20th and Harvard. That is the front house, the west house, I guess you could say. And then the garage house is that green building off in the distance. This is the front of the house on Harvard. This is the distance between the house on the Harvard, which is on the left there. That's the back of the house. And then an open field or an open yard here. And then this is the garage house. It's kind of fuzzy, but those little sticks that are in the ground that run between them, I believe is the proposed property line. So you can see where everything is in relationship to the proposed property line. And this is the garage house. It's the house that was there, or garage that was there was, they had the upstairs converted into a dwelling unit many years ago. And then on the left, you can see where the sticks are, which would be the property line, proposed property line. This is the house that's immediately east of the garage house. It's a duplex. Okay, here we're looking west down 20th Street. You can see the Harvard House there on the right. See, this is a typical residential street. No curb and gutter, probably about 24 feet in width. This is a house that's south of the site. I believe this is kind of southeast of the property. And this is one that's more directly south. And then this is one that is south of, it's on the south side of 20th Street, directly south of the Harvard House, I guess you could say. I don't know if there were any board members on this board that were present when this property went through a number of years ago, but there was actually 3 houses on Lot 5 that went through the board to grant a variance to split the lot into 2, and with the garage house and then the Harvard House, if you call it that, would be on the one lot, and then the other house, which is not part of the applicant's property, on another lot, the north lot. So now the current owner seeks to divide the Harvard lot into 2, basically. If you have any questions, you can answer that. I can go back to this one. The one that says 5A was all these 3 houses were on Lot 5, which was there. And then Lot 5A is the mother owned one of the properties and the grandparents lived in the other or something like that, and it was divided. And they got variances for that. And so the applicant owns this south lot and now wants to divide it into 2, as shown on this plan here.
Was the 5C and 5D just one lot then, when they did the replat?
That's right. Lot, what is 5C and D is now 5B, I believe. And so when it's divided, I'm not sure it'll be 5C and D, but it'll be Lot 5 something.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So they split it. Do we need some?
Any other questions?
I don't have it. Do you guys have any other questions on it? I mean, what?
No, I did not receive any calls on this.
No, that's okay. No calls. No. Okay. Well, we're ready for testimony, I guess.
Mr. Crosley, can you turn
We'll
the
have
lights back
somebody here
on?
to represent the owners, I guess, come up here and talk to us and give us what's going on, give us some information.
Okay, the applicant will need to get up and speak. Up here.
You need to give us your name and address, the ones that are going to speak for the record.
He speaks Spanish, so I'm just going to be interpreting for him.
Okay, well, you
Okay.
need to get up to the mic then, and give us your name and his name.
My name is Andrés Salgado.
My name is Luis Montejo.
Tu dirección. ¿Cuál es tu
My
dirección?
address is 1943 South Harvard, Independent, Missouri, 64052.
Do I need to say my address too?
Well, we normally, yeah, sure, we need your address.
824 South Quinn Ridge Drive, Independence, Missouri.
Okay, so you're going to speak for.
Be sure to speak
For him.
more into the microphone then.
Yeah, so we-
Okay. Que hable más en el micrófono. What are the questions?
Well, why do you want to do this?
Why does it want to do this? ¿Por qué quieres hacer esto?
Porque yo quiero vender la otra casa para coger esta para vivir, repararla y coger
He's planning on selling the property on lot 5C to be able to come up with the funds to be able to fix up the property on lot 5D. 5D will be his own house, and I mean, without the money, he could not fix it up because it's in a pretty bad shape right now.
Just to clarify, 5D is where the green building is.
That's the green building. Yeah.
And that's what you want to keep.
That's what we want to keep, yeah.
Okay, so you're selling the front house?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I noticed on the comments from the city, now it was actually, you had the ones that the staff criteria, and then you had the one that had to do with, well, staff comments, but you had the ones that were review criteria, I noticed, which is unusual. Stuart, did you, because you're talking about the review criteria that you had of 1 through 6, and according to the opening paragraph, all 6 criteria must be met for variance to be granted. And in this particular one, you have 6, there's 6 comments and only 2, let's see, there's only 2 that have yes and 4 that have no on, I'm talking about review criteria.
On the review criteria,
And so, but we have that to deal with as a Board of Adjustment. But then they had, what they had here on the staff comments, they've got, according to this, 3 yeses and 3 nos. Is that correct, Stuart?
Are you looking at the old
two
staff
different-
report as well as the new one, or are you just looking at the new one?
Well, this is, says the case number 04. I should have mentioned that at the beginning, 9990.
Well, that was the original one from '04. So that old staff report was included just for you to review
Oh, this was the one that was before,
from 2004.
oh, so it was 18 years ago they did the split, right?
yeah.
So
I
these were
didn't
the-
know about that split in
Okay,
2004.
so now since that time, they, from the review criteria of today, right, Stuart? Then we have 4 no's and 2 yeses on the comments here. I could read them to you. I could read you the first one. The request variance arises from conditions which are unique to the subject property that are not ordinarily found in the same zoning district and that are not a result of the owner's intentional action. And then their comment is no, while the property does contain 2 separate dwelling units, there are no physical hardships created by the land on which the dwellings rest. The garage apartment was chosen to be on this lot 15 years ago when the property was previously subdivided. So, Stuart, I'm just asking you, did they know that this was rental property at the time?
Yes, a family owned, as you can see from that '04 report, Beth Schrick, she owned the whole Lot 5. So when she divided it, I guess she kept 5A, or I don't remember which, but, so yeah, there's always been some knowledge that this property was, 2 lots. There were 2 residential dwellings here
Okay.
from the very beginning.
From the very
I don't know
beginning.
why she decided not to, because I think I brought that up when this went through before. You got another dwelling back there above the garage. Why don't you just cut that lot off? And she didn't want to do it for whatever reason. So here we are, 15 years later.
Okay, so in other words, it's,
If they would have done that 15 years ago, it could have probably worked out to where you could have had 3 lots in here without
you
doing
mean
this
3
variance.
lots rather than 2?
Yeah, see, you could have taken what is shown as Lot 5D, narrowed it up a little bit, and then extended north to
Oh,
the
I
top
see.
of Lot 5. And you
Right.
could have gotten 3 lots out of it probably without another variance.
So in other words, at that time, hindsight's always 20/20?
I see it.
Is that what it's
I've
called?
seen it.
2022, there you go, 2022. Do you all have any, so she still owns the property to the north, or we don't know
I don't
that?
know.
It doesn't matter.
I
It's
don't
already
know.
split off, so it's,
I thought she was keeping the south property, but I don't remember.
so the house that's called 5A there's a house there on the drawing here by Irwin Guard, the surveyor, and then they've got where they want to split the other into two, so in other words, they end up 3 lots is what they want to do. I mean, originally from what they had before.
Oh, okay.
So, do you all have any comments?
Well, I have a question. This might be for you, Stuart, but, well, first of all, who owns Lot 5A? Is that a relative?
He owns it all.
Do you own 5A?
No, I'm sorry. He doesn't own, he only owns 5C and 5D.
Who owns 5A?
We don't know.
You don't know?
No, I don't know who owns it.
Okay, so you understand what he was saying, that if 15 years ago, if what's now like 5D had extended all the way through the back of 5A, that might have worked out. You follow me? That's what he was explaining.
That's what he was saying. Yeah.
Is that correct, Stuart? But now we've got a problem to deal with, because, you know, it's a very, very small lot now. And so, but you own actually 5C. He owns 5C.
Mm-hmm.
He owns 5B, the whole thing, and he's trying to divide it into the 2.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's, well, for one thing, you don't have, if you look on the comments here, okay, one of the comments here that's, where we got here? The city code. For example, when they propose lot, they've got here, while zoned R2, proposed lot 5A will contain a single-family home and must contain at least 7,400 square feet. Now, that's by ordinance, by the city ordinance, okay? Proposed lot 5A will contain just 4,200 square feet, which is almost half of what the requirement is. It's about 40-some%. Therefore, requiring a variance of 3,200 square feet. That's a lot. When you're talking about size of lots, and where you have development, they have certain lot sizes, and they don't let you build like a, well, they just, today you couldn't put in a lot that was, I mean, this is not to be negative, but you could not put a lot 70 feet by 60 feet. You couldn't divide it a lot into that size because it'd be too small. Does that make sense?
We will not be building anything on that lot, though. It's just going to be, the garage is going to stay pretty much the same. We're just going to fix what it has on top and the garage doors. So we can put vehicles underneath, and he'll be living on top. It will stay pretty much just the same.
Would you move a little closer to the mic?
Yeah. Since,
Yeah, there you go.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
So what he plans on is he'll stay in the garage apartment. Since we came up with the idea because he has a different address and he has different utilities and all that. So it didn't make any sense for us to have, to separate utility bills in one single lot. And so he's not gonna expand it. He's not gonna do anything to it. All he's gonna do is move it into it and fix it up, make it a decent place for him to live in. But he doesn't have the $70,000, $80,000 that it would take, it will require to fix up the place. The place will fall apart within a couple of years. It's already bending to the side. So if we don't have the money, we might as well just knock it down. Yeah. It will fall down by itself, pretty much.
You're talking about the one where the garage
The
is?
greenhouse, yeah. The other house you already fixed. That one's fixed up inside. No, not that one. That one's awful. Yeah. So the other one is the one that he wants to sell because he can get at least $160,000 for the other house and come up with the money to fix up this one. That side of the neighborhood is pretty bad, and fixing it up will make kind of the neighborhood a little bit better. And, so it's pretty rough down there. So he just wants to fix it up and,
you can see where it puts us sometimes between a rock and a hard place. I don't know if it makes sense to you when we have a lot this size. I don't really want to be a bearer of bad news or whatever you want to call it, but you realize we have certain criteria that we have to go by.
Yeah, I understand.
We can't just be a rubber stamp, is what I'm saying. So I don't know how you all feel. I mean, it doesn't meet, but according to and we have to go by what the city staff gives us. You follow me?
Yeah.
When it comes to,
Well, those are just the staff's opinion. You are more than able to come up with your own feelings on this. Those are
Okay.
just the staff's
what's
recommendations or
your
opinions.
all's feelings on if it's not, you said it.
They are right in here. Those are the staff's
That's your feelings
viewpoints.
here that you've, okay,
Those are the ones in italics.
right.
Have you talked to any of your neighbors? Do they have any objections to this?
None of the neighbors so far have any objections. The lady next door, she's really happy to see the place being fixed up. We even mow her lawn sometimes because she cannot do it by herself. The guy next door, he's a really nice guy, and he's like, that if you guys don't do anything to this place, it's gonna fall in a couple of years, and we know for sure it will because it's falling apart. Just that we don't have the money to just say, yeah, next week we're gonna start buying stuff from Lowe's and fixing it up. But, I mean, everybody is okay with that.
So in other words, you want to sell the one on the west?
It's just
And then
because, yeah.
keep the garage and then renovate it?
Yeah.
Hopefully with the cash that you make on
Acquire
the
from-
sale.
How long has she owned the property?
She's renting that property. The lady that we mowed the next to the house, she's been renting there for years.
The lady that owns.
No, she doesn't own it. The people that owns it, we send out the letter to them, but they never, I guess.
Dile que la camarada que me regala el terreno, porque dice que no le importa el terreno.
¿Tú conoces al dueño de la casa de al lado?
Y buenísimo decir, dile que me regala el terreno, le dice que sí.
The owner, the actual owner of the house where the lady is renting.
On Harvard?
Yeah. He even proposed to him for him to keep all the land behind his house, next to it. He was like, if you want to, you can just build up a fence and keep all the land, all my yard, if you want to. The owner of the property, the owner of the land, not the renter.
Dile que me dijo que yo la cortara,
Yeah.
la hierba, y que me quedara con él.
He said, if you keep mowing the lawn, just build a fence and it's all yours. That's what he
The
said.
owner of the property is
The owner of
okay-
the land,
is
yes.
okay with this dividing of the lot?
Yeah, on lot A,
To-
yes.
The owner of lot A,
Yeah.
of lot 5A is okay with it?
5A is okay with it.
Who
Yeah.
owns the
It's a
lot?
man.
But who owns lot 5, what you're calling 5C? Who owns that?
It's him.
So he owns both lots?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long ago did you purchase this?
6 years.
6 years ago.
6 years ago you purchased?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you purchased it, did you know that there could be a problem?
Cuando compraste la casa, te dijeron que podía haber algún tipo de problema? No.
At the time when you bought it, you just bought the whole entire, what they're called 5C and 5D as one, right?
Pretty much,
And
I
you had
remember,
The garage was used as a rental, but originally it was used as a garage, I presume, when it was originally built. I don't know. Maybe
If-
it's always been a place where they have people living in. But you've had where they've lived in both 5C and 5D, I'm calling on the surveyors. plan.
if I remember well, the realtor that sold the house to him, she never said that was a rental. What she said is that one of the sons of the lady that used to live in that house, that passed away, used to live in that place. That's what she said. And that they built it for him. How long ago, she never said. Yeah, that's all she said. The realtor.
So they had somebody that they built above the garage and
It's
Or a
a little
living
studio.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Supposedly a man used to live up on the little studio, but they never said that it was a rental. All she said was the guy that used to live here, he used to be the owner of the house, son.
So the
Yeah.
owners of the house, son lived in the garage, or you
Uh-huh.
talking about the upper part of the
Yeah.
garage?
Yeah.
So Luis lives in Lot 5C, or he's living, who's living in 5?
He lives on lot 5C.
So he's living there now?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the house is fixed up, and his plan has always been to be able to sell it. Yeah.
Okay.
But he wants to be able to renovate.
Keep the other property. Yeah.
Okay. What's your all's thoughts here, folks? I mean,
Mr. Davies, can you make sure you speak in the microphone here?
There's both sides. I think that on one side, we've got the rules about lot size, which it looked to me like reading the book is aimed at new construction, new housing developments. This one, the people are wanting to improve the property by selling part of the other property and make the neighborhood better. And then on the other side, on the rural side, while you've got this lot size thing that's kind of hard to reconcile. So, I don't know, I'm kind of leaning toward granting the variance, but what do the rest of you think?
what do you think, Jack? I mean, I'm trying to get some
Well,
comments
Is
from.
there anybody else going to testify?
Yeah, we're still in the
Oh, we
public
got-
hearing stage.
We haven't,
Yeah.
we're not closing the
Yeah,
meeting, we're not closing it for discussion yet.
So
We still have.
is Luis aware that would be a very, very narrow backyard, which is very, very unusual? And, you know, and it's very, very small lot, and it's awfully small for children to play and other things. And I mean, is he aware of all those criteria?
He is aware of the backyard size and all that. I mean, he has a, sorry, he has a driveway in front, and that's all he cares about, pretty much, just to be able to park and, you know, underneath the house. That's all he cares about. Less land, less mowing.
Well, you realize you could never add an addition onto that. I mean, it could never be enlarged. It would be stuck to be the size that it is. You know, he can't come back and say, well, we'd like to add an addition, because there's not enough room. So
Yeah.
he's talking about just repairing the inside, sprucing up the walls that are leaning and all those kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean, needs new roof, new siding, new structure, new plumbing, new everything.
Complete
Yeah.
renovation is what you're saying.
Yeah,
So you're basically coming to us because this is a financial situation for him, and
yeah,
yet we have to deal with other things besides the financial aspects. And that's what's a little bit difficult, because we can as neighbors, as community citizens, we can empathize with you, and you know, at the same time, I'm wondering if there's any other options. For example, could you rent Lot 5C and get a loan based on that? Or is there some other way you can do this so you can fix it up a little at a time? Or, you know, that's because what we have to do is to satisfy you is really stretch the
renting Lot 5C will implement pretty much getting the house destroyed. You know, renters, they don't take care of your property sometimes. And it's only $900, $800 a month. That's not enough money to be able to fix Lot 5C. It will take them like, what, 5-6 years to be able to do that. And then it will put him as a homeless person, pretty much. Where is he gonna go? Not my house.
Well, it's, and what is the condition of the garage itself you're talking about? Maybe it's falling in. What are you talking about?
The garage,
mean,
well, you
is-
can see it right there. The doors don't work. You need to replace those. On the left side, you need to, all these structure is kind of leaning a little bit. So you need to fix all that. You need to put new
But you're
siding.
talking maybe foundation work too? I mean, and.
It's a
and-
little bit cracked, yeah.
I mean, you're talking about some. well,
Money.
Money to fix it up.
Is the foundation concrete or block?
It's concrete.
So you could put in braced wall, there's things that you can do to fix that. They
To
aren't
fix it,
necessarily
yeah.
that expensive with new siding and anchor bolts and all that kind of stuff. So is that the major issue, or are there other issues? And maybe this isn't going to be as hard to fix as you think.
It will be pretty hard.
Pero dile que el foundation nomás la placa, que las paredes son de madera, que eso es fácil de arreglar.
He said the foundation is, well, the foundation is concrete.
Only
And it's a little bit cracked, so we need to fix that. We need to raise new walls. And
It's not,
Is the foundation, does it go down?
no, it doesn't go down into, it
It's
doesn't have a
just
basement.
The slab on.
It's just
on
a slab, yeah.
a slab that hopefully has a footing that's below the slab, but you can't, the footing doesn't stick up past the slab,
Yeah.
right?
It has like a cinder block footing where the, I don't know about construction.
Okay.
So it has like a cinder block on top, and then the actual 2x4 wall is on top of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
dile que eso es fácil
So
de
it's
arreglar.
major.
No, es lo que están diciendo que si es fácil no te dan
I don't know about you guys.
si es fácil no tiene que
This
ser
is not
difícil para
easy.
que ellos sepan que tú vas a invertir dinero en el lugar.
I mean, I don't like to be
Quedar bien,
a
bien
share sad news, but what can you
Bien,
do
bien.
with,
Continue it.
and then see if there's something maybe they could come up with that might.
Dile que la casa va a dar dinero y que
We haven't heard all the, we haven't heard all
We
the
have
testimony.
testimony, there's more testimony, I suppose. So we're going to have to go through and have you answer a couple of these things. The question is, if that lot being small as it is will decrease the value of the property owners around you because it's such a small lot. But from your testimony, you're saying that they like the idea of fixing the garage because they feel like it will increase the value of their house because they may not be thinking about property sizes, they're just thinking about the house. Now, am I stating that correctly?
Pretty much. I mean, if from my point of view, because I bought a house here in Independence not too long ago, and I was looking around. I have my realtor here with me, and I was looking at the properties next to my house before I don't care about lot sizes. All I care about is, how the property next to me looks like before I move in. If a property looks really bad, in a bad shape, I'm not buying, because I believe that people don't care about their neighborhood. And so I wouldn't buy if the house looks like, I'm sorry, but a crackhead lives in it. I wouldn't buy in a neighborhood like that. So that house makes the entire neighborhood look pretty bad, the green one.
Okay.
He said he's gonna fix it really well. It's gonna look really nice after he fixes it, but without the money, there's nothing we can do.
Okay. I don't have any more questions.
Well, it's, I
Other
guess
testimony?
we have anybody else here who would like to testify on behalf of the owners?
Oh, we sit down? Okay.
Speak then.
Are you going to speak in behalf?
Hello. Hi, I am their realtor. I'm just going to let you guys.
You need to identify yourself, please.
Misty Hines. I'm also a resident of Independence. I have pictures to show you if you'd like to see the work that he did on Lot C. He's put a lot of time and effort into the house and made it beautiful. Again, I used to live on 19th Street, just right over the railroad track. And so I know the neighborhood very well. And he's done a very nice job fixing it up inside and out. Hopefully, we can bring a very nice family to the neighborhood. But I've been in the garage, and it is fixable. When you go upstairs, there's stairs that go up to the top level, and it has just been gutted. But it does have the walls in there. There's a kitchen, there's a bathroom, there's a bedroom, and there's a nice-sized living room. It's plenty for a single person to live in. It just needs to be fixed up and taken care of. And didn't realize it would probably be this hard, being that he pays 2 electric bills, one for Harvard and one for 20th Street. Both have separate addresses already. So in my, just kind of makes sense that we would be able to split that and go about, our business with it. But he is trying to fix it up, and I just want on his behalf say I can show you guys pictures of his home that he did fix up on 5C. So I can, guarantee you guys that he will do a nice job and spend the money that he's saying he's going to fixing up this other property.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is this, I was going to ask you, is this something that once he fixes it off? Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Is the owner, is the owner going to fix it up and then try to sell it, or is this something he wants to just,
He's keeping.
because you're looking at
It's a very small.
a lot that's, you can hardly do anything with it because it's so small.
Right.
And
No, that's going to
so-
be where he's going to live and make his residence because he's single. And later on, he could rent it out. It will be a nice little 1-bedroom rental if he'd like to. That could be a possibility.
Okay, because you really couldn't do any additional
Right, but just
addition
keep it
to
as
this at all. There's no way you could.
keep it as a rental property or something. I understand that.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
No, not
Okay,
right now.
thank you.
no. Okay. Do we have anybody else here that wants to speak in behalf of the owners that want to speak in behalf of the owners of this property? Now, is there anyone here tonight that is not in favor of this, that would like to speak before the board? Okay, I guess nobody here. Okay, well, do we go ahead and make our,
You need to close the public hearing.
okay, we are going to go ahead and close the public hearing, and we'll make our decision tonight and so forth. But we want to talk for a little bit on this because this is a little bit more complicated than we normally run into. So let's-
Okay, can you close the public hearing?
I'm going to close the public hearing, and we are going to discuss this applicant. Okay, thank you. Do we want to turn off turn this off?
Well, I'll start off here, looking at the review criteria. I think we could state that there is a condition unique to this property because by the testimony, the garage is close to falling down. And so that, in a sense, could qualify as a physical hardship, perhaps. The alleged hardship has not been created by any person presently having interest in the property. Yeah, that's a hard one to deal with, but at the same time, it's not his fault that the previous owner didn't really follow what would have been more logical and created the third lot, as Stuart mentioned, going to the north and going through the back of the first lot. So in a sense, that the point could be made that that's really not his fault, but so that's the way I look at these. But as far as analyzing this thing, if neighbors had objected, I would not in any way want to vote for this variance, but because we're hearing the neighbors in favor of, because from their perspective, it's fixing up the house, and I can, so anyway, that's my 2 cents worth now to start off.
Mr. Board members, I would like to add that when we at a staff level discussed this, there was an issue with what would happen to the garage if something, what would happen to lot 5D if the garage burned down or was blown over before any improvements were made to it. Then the next owner would be back before this board seeking variance to build a new house there. Because this lot is not big enough, it does not meet the setbacks for a normal house. So you would be voting on another couple of variances to let somebody build a house back on this small lot.
Could we, if we were to approve this, could we stipulate that in the event that this house would ever burn, that it could only be rebuilt like it was? Can we get that?
That's not within the board's purview, I would state. Can you address that again, Mr. Brown?
Can we, is it possible that we could stipulate, because we know that this lot would be very difficult to ever, if the house were to burn down or fall down, to build anything other than what's there? Can we stipulate that if that were to happen, it would maybe something would be filed with this property, that it cannot be different than the house is now if it's rebuilt? Is that something that we can do or not?
You can't put limitations on the property's use like that.
Okay.
The board can't do that.
Okay.
How likely, you mentioned it burning down or blowing over, how likely is it to do that compared to other structures in the neighborhood?
I'm not an engineer, I wouldn't.
Okay. So it's, in your opinion, it's not necessarily at significant
No,
risk
that could
of
happen to any house in the city.
Okay.
So the owner might need to know that that would be a risky thing, that if it burns down, that's it. He may not be able to sell the lot because he couldn't put a garage on it and have just a garage on a lot.
That's right, you can't have an accessory building on a lot that doesn't have a primary
That's
structure.
right. So
Anything happen to the structure now?
Well, they would have to come back to this
you
board to
couldn't
get
build on it.
variances to build another house.
they would want to take it back to one lot again so that the garage could be part of the first lot, I suppose. So, anybody else have any comments?
Do you have any questions? This is an unusual. I'm just going to read, there's one of the criteria here, number 5 and number 6. The alleged hardship has not been created by any person having an interest in the property. No, as while it's true the applicant only recently purchased this property, the 2 structures existed here prior to the land being subdivided 15 years ago, and the applicant was aware of this situation when he purchased the property. And number 6, it says the variance, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. No, if the property is subdivided yet again, the square footage of 2 smaller lots may lower overall property values on adjacent and nearby lots in the neighborhood. And there's actually 2 more no's out of the 6. This is just from the city staff, okay? And we have to make a decision here, which isn't easy to make on something like this. This is very unusual. But And like I'll read one more. Number one, the requested variance arises from conditions which are unique to the subject property that are not ordinarily found in the same zoning district and that are not a result of the owner's intentional action. No, while the property does contain two separate building units, there are no physical hardships created by the land on which the dwellings rest. The garage apartment was chosen to be on this lot 15 years ago when the property was previously subdivided. So that's just 3 of the 6 that they have a problem with the city staff, and there's one more. And if, reading this, all this here, this is not an easy decision. I want you all to know this, because review criteria, recommendations made by the staff and decisions of the Board of Justice must be based on consideration of all the following criteria. All 6 criteria must be met for the variance to be granted. Now you can see that's pretty black and white there. So I'd like to hear some other anybody else on our board would like to talk. That's just one of the things when I see 4 of the 6 with a no and only 2 with a yes, it's not easy. It's not an easy decision.
Stuart, I want to understand this proposed lot split line. That's new. That's what you have to have in order to split that lot off and sell it right now.
Yeah, you have to divide it in some fashion and create a lot line between the two.
Okay, yeah, that's what's happening now.
That's what they're seeking to do, that's right.
Right. Otherwise, that whole lots 5C did extend into lot 5D.
Yeah, actually, it's called Lot 5B, actually is comprised of shown lots 5C and 5D.
Okay, thank you.
Is there, this is probably crazy, but is there any way that the lot can be sold with an easement to utilize what he's calling C with the sale, and that it's sold with that being an easement, so it doesn't have to be divided as a separate lot? Now that's a legal question, but is that a possibility? I've never seen that, but I'm just asking.
I don't know, but I don't know how that would work.
No, just sell it with an easement on the east portion, and so he doesn't have to do this. I don't know. I'm just asking. It's a legal question.
That's maybe a question for like a title company or a mortgage agent.
Yeah.
Not,
And I'm wondering if this should be, if this were continued and that could be explored, you know, I'm just thinking of some way that we can not have to cut the baby in half.
You want to speak again?
Andres again. Like I mentioned, the owner of the land on 5A, he said that we can take half of his lot. So that will extend it
He did?
to the back.
Did you hear that?
We know the guy. So he said that if we want to, we can take the back of the property if we want to. Because we are the one, I mean, he is the one that mows and cleans the back because they don't take care of it. So he said if we keep mowing and cleaning, might as well just build a fence and take it because he doesn't want it. It's too much land for him.
Okay.
And he's just renting that property.
He rents the property?
Yeah,
the
he
one that
rents the property, but he doesn't care about the property. The property is in actually pretty bad shape.
Well, I don't
know.
understand. He rents it, but what about the owner?
He
of
rents
the
it out.
property?
Huh?
He's the owner, not
He's
the
the
renter.
owner, the
Oh, I
landlord.
thought you said he
that's-
rents it.
Yeah, he lives in the neighborhood too.
Okay.
But it's rented.
So
He doesn't live there. He just.
He doesn't live there. He lives in the neighborhood. He lives in the same block.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then we could approve this subject to that lot.
no, if they're going to replat the lot, you really need to continue this
You know
to
you're
see
gonna
what
have to
the
replat it.
variance would look like after you redrew it.
So
Because you still may need a variance, I don't know, but
Yeah.
we need more information.
Yeah.
If you want to continue it and let them go back to the surveyor and have them create another, because lot 5A would be divided again, you'd have to incorporate all 3 of those lots into into a plat.
Kind of what you talked about before, is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
exactly.
Well, then, if they went clear up to the north property line here, it would make it more feasible, wouldn't it?
Right, so if he
But
asks,
he'd have to get all that through the title
if you ask
company.
us to continue this, so you don't have to worry about
Yeah, we
maybe
don't.
being voted down, and then that's it.
Yeah, and it may not need a variance, I
Yeah.
don't know what the square footage
Yeah.
and all that's gonna
Well,
work.
that-
And maybe the owner is, when it comes to really donating it to these guys, may not wanna do that,
Yeah.
They can say, oh, take care of it, but then we'll just take it from you. His idea might change.
Well, it has to go through all the legal channels and something like
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I
title
didn't-
company and so on.
I didn't pick up on that, and that, to me, is what would be a good thing for everybody. If you
If you
want
could
us to
do that.
continue this, and then proceed with Irwin Guard, and then come back if necessary, then you might have solved the problem.
You want to come up here and talk too?
So that would require us to go back and pay again to have another variance done because we can't get this one
Well, not
approved.
necessarily.
And then get a hold of the owner and get them to,
No, this would not require another variance, I don't believe. I don't
or
know, because
Guard-
there's,
I guess
this,
Guard Horizon is who we've been using to do
yeah,
these
that's not a
drawings
variance,
and
it would
stuff.
require another plat, that is correct.
So we're gonna have to repay again.
Well, you'd have to repay probably that, but I'm just saying, rather than us having to make a decision on the way it is now, it's just a very hard decision for us to make
Yeah,
because of the lot size. I mean,
Well,
that's
it's-
just a,
It's real, I mean, I really feel like it's because it was allowed to happen 15 years ago, and incorrectly is why we're in this situation today, because we've got a garage with living quarters on top of it, and it has its own separate address, own utilities, own gas, own everything. And she was allowed to build that on there and give it own address and not split the property correctly, is what I understand
Yeah.
from the meeting today. I feel like that's why we're here.
We understand that.
we understand that, but we've got a problem with a 70 by 60-foot lot. I mean, that's just, puts us in between, I'm saying it before, a rock and a hard place here.
So
If we
you're
can try to,
wanting us to
we
go
can,
back to owner on lot 5A and see if we can get them to give us, if that will meet the variance, and see if we can get him to give us that land for
Yeah.
the,
And it's-
well, they'd still have to do a lot split, wouldn't they?
yeah, basically
still
you
have
have
to
to
still-
alter this design to,
You would have to do a lot
Include
split, and
that.
then that would be, what they call 5D would be a much bigger, I don't know how much more it would be, 50 foot maybe or so, 100, maybe 100 feet north-south.
Yeah.
110, well, it's 60 now, and maybe to add another 50 to it. So it'd be maybe 110 foot north-south, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what that distance is there. But
yeah.
it's-
Well, he may need another variance, but at least the lot would be larger.
Right.
But you'd still need a variance for lot 5C because it's also below. But it would not be so noticeable as,
That, and that's would be probably what you all were talking about at the time when they,
well, from.
Not necessarily.
From 18 years ago, from what I remember, I think that was discussed.
right.
Because
Because you have to remember, this house and stuff was built in the 50s or before the city even had zoning.
Mhm. Right, and but this 70 by 60 foot lot, you can see where that is just not really, it's just not feasible to try to have a structure. I mean, you could never go out and buy a lot that size and build a house on it or anything.
we don't plan on selling it.
We're not gonna sell
I'm just
it.
saying, what it is now, it's not, but if you increase the size of it, what
Right,
Roy
and-
was
and
talking
here-
about.
And he's not
in-
able to sell. He's not able to sell lot C with D on it because D is in such bad shape.
It won't
So
pass any
It
inspection.
won't pass.
may
So
I,
That's where, and he took out a loan to get 5C, and then he paid cash for the house,
Yeah, he bought the house cash, but then.
and then took out a loan to do a complete renovation. It's absolutely stunning inside.
Okay.
Doesn't have the money now to continue on to fix
Mm-hmm.
this other property, And so he can't, he's kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place too, because he can't do anything with he can't do anything with the whole lot because of that dwelling on it.
May I address that? The benefits of what we're suggesting would make it good for everybody. It would make the property values, fixing the house is what the neighbors care about, because that owner doesn't mind if they give up part of that land because of your friendship. Then you have a lot that you may not have to come back here. And it's a good lot, and that increases the property value, not only because the garage house looks good, but because that's a lot that could be sold if he decides to, get married and have a family, maybe he could put an addition out the back or whatever. And so that should also please the lot owner in the house that he fixed up, because it doesn't matter to that owner because when you sell that lot, that owner might like it more knowing that the lot next to him, they're both better lots. Or her. So I'm saying if we have to vote on it tonight, there's no guarantee that this will be passed, and then you're really going to be up a creek. But if you just spend a few more dollars with Irwin, who's a fair man, and he's already done a lot of the work, it shouldn't cost you that much more to have him just do that little bit more. I know him. We know him. That might be in your best interest and in the best interest of the neighbors. So you might want to consider having us give you a continuance.
Can you get a hold of the neighbor and ask him
We
to
can see, let me
give up
ask
some
him.
yard?
¿Tú sabes dónde vive el dueño de la casa, no es verdad?
Sí.
¿Tú crees que hablando con él te dé permiso para agrandar para atrás?
El terreno, sí, me lo dijo. Y
Pero
yo he picado el terreno, pues él me dijo, tú cortas hierro que es tuyo. Y por 3 años tú vienes aquí a la ciudad y ellos te dan el terreno ya para ti.
Porque ellos dicen que para que te lo aprueben tiene que
agrandar el terreno
atrás.
para que haya 2 metros cúbicos que ellos quieren. 2 metros cuadrados.
We'll take a break. I didn't realize it was going to be an hour.
We'll have to continue then if it's gonna go to the point of talking to this guy and see. Do we need to have him to sign any document saying that he approves it, or before we ever come back? And because I don't want to just say, yeah, he.
Continue the case.
Pretty much. I mean, we'll have to go and talk to the man that owns the land and see if he actually said it and like, yeah,
So then,
So even if we continue the case and that doesn't happen, we're still no worse than we were before. This gives you an
you're not,
opportunity to
yeah.
maybe solve it.
well, we could have sold the house a long time ago. It just didn't sell because of that beautiful garage,
Yeah, the beautiful garage, yeah.
But
So then, I guess our next step is, do we go back to Guard Horizon and then ask for help with what you guys are suggesting, and then let everyone know that you guys kind of sent us and this is what you want done versus?
Irwin would know how to, he's a surveyor, he'd know how to split it up and do it. You'd have to get the person that owns Lot 5A would have to be willing to sell I call it a production of the west line of Lot 5D that's shown on our plat, up to the north line of the property of the one it just shows it's just timber there. And so you just produce that, and then you'd have more of a rectangular shaped lot rather than a square lot. That's what you got.
it will suck if the guy now says, well, I said I was going to give it to you, but I want $10,000 since I know that you're going to sell it.
Right. Well, and that's part of the issue is you're asking us to approve it on the assumption that you'll be able to incorporate that into the property, but we have no proof that that's actually going to happen. And so approving such a small lot, it could decrease the value of other lots, of other properties around. So I
don't
think
the properties around are going to gain any more value.
I
over
hear
the
you.
next
I hear
20
you.
years.
But it's a risk, and so I think we're asking you to ameliorate part of that risk because you're saying the neighbor is cool with it. The neighbor wants us to, we take care of that property behind, and so the neighbor said that we can do that, but we can only operate on what we know,
Yeah.
on what is on paper.
So let's go figure out what we can do with the neighbor. We'll get a hold of Irwin, and then hopefully he will give it to us and not sell it.
Dile que cuando yo la termine, eso va a ser un
Maybe just
vecindario
deed
en
it
todo
to you.
Sonora.
Otherwise, we'll be back saying, hey, guys, we don't have 10,000 to sell it.
Right.
Yeah.
Dile que cuando yo la termine,
But hopefully, maybe he
Because
will.
if we vote and it doesn't pass, then it's a year that you would have to wait. And so it would
gives you
behoove
the
you to
time.
at least carry it another month. And then we can come back with all the facts that we know next month.
said that maybe we won't have to, if it
You need to
splits
speak in the
and-
microphone, please.
If it splits and the numbers work out, we may not even have to come back.
Perhaps.
Possibly, but yeah, I don't.
We're coming
yeah.
back, aren't we? We're coming back.
I- yeah.
And if it doesn't,
I'm just
if
trying
the
to get-
numbers don't match up in the next time that we come back, then
We're
Yeah,
back.
then we'll address it with what we do know. But right now, we're just operating on a lot of variables that, you're saying the neighbor might do this, that they may not, and at least we'll have more facts next time. And then we can address it from there.
We look at this as an inconvenience to you for a little bit, but I think in the long run, you'll be better off if we do it this way, because some of us here are going to have a tough time okaying it the way it is right now. I'll just be honest with you. I'm not trying to, it's just, I have a problem with it. And if we can work this out, it works out for both you all and the board.
Yeah, and from my perspective, there are things that, you didn't build a house on top of the garage. So from my perspective, I'm a little bit more inclined to overlook some of this, but it would behoove you to have some things shored up before we make that final decision.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
all right.
Thank you.
And when you're negotiating with the owner, you might tell him, if we can't fix up this house, your property value is not going to go up any. So, you might want to just give us that land for to token,
Yeah,
Hopefully
possibly.
he says yes. I mean, the rental that he has is no better than the garage anyway, so. Well, we'll see.
I think we're just trying to work with you folks. I just want you to know that,
Thank you.
really.
Buena suerte.
when we're rebuilding the house, the neighborhood is more beautiful, more every time beautiful.
Claro que sí. Buena suerte.
Thank you all for coming out.
Well, I'm prepared to make a motion that we continue this case.
Okay,
Okay.
before Mr. Jones, but you being a former surveyor guy, how long do you think it'll take Mr. Guard to do another plat? Because our next meeting is the 21st.
Well, I would think, I'm not
Should we
speaking for
push it
Mr.
to
Gard, but
May?
I think he would be able, maybe within a 30-day period, have something. I don't know.
But I need something before then because I have to write up another staff report and get it out
Why
to you.
couldn't he just do a preliminary?
Well, even a
drawing?
preliminary is going to take him a little time.
Well, maybe,
And they need to have time to get the, at least some sort
Well,
of
I'm sorry.
cursory contract from the other
You might
property owner.
want to use maybe 60 days rather than 30, because I'm just, he may be busy. I don't know. I'm
we
not,
can, we can continue it again.
and he can continue it again, or if we want to do that.
So if you want to just continue to April, it is April 21st.
April 21st. Let's try that and see, and we can't guarantee you that he can have it done by then, but we can, hopefully. I can't promise you for somebody else that has his own business, he's going to say, well, maybe he's done some of the work, so it's certainly not going to take him like he's starting all over. Okay? Thank you.
Do we want to continue it for 30 days just in case?
Well, it's,
Or do we, with the option of continuing it for another 30 days?
yeah, we can do that. Let's just do it that way.
Well, then, Mr. Chairman, I will move that we continue case number 22-999-02 for 30 days with the possibility of.
Which would be April
To
21st.
April 23rd?
21st.
April 21st, is that when you say the next? for the-
First or third?
21st.
1st, April 21st.
April 21st, 2022, yes.
I'll second.
Okay. And we've got a second here.
Second.
Another second. All right, well, let's take a vote, a voice vote. Roy Brown,
Yes.
Aaron Crossley,
Yes.
Jack Lehman,
Yes.
John Davies, I'll get it right here in a minute, and Bob Jones, yes. So that has been continued to April the 21st, meeting that we'll get the necessary information from the surveyor and all, so we can, and the city, of course, has to look at it too, so they gotta have time to, so we'll make it to 21st if possible, but if we have to, we can always. All right, well, thank you, guys. I think this is the best decision to make tonight. I really do. Because hopefully it'll work out. We don't, I guess, we're going to take about a 10-minute break, and then we'll be. I think anybody has to go to the bathroom, go. I actually went before, so. Oh, boy. This is continued.
It took me about 2/3 of the way through that, because with all that from 2004, that's confusing to have that stuff with it.
Yeah, you're talking about the report back then.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Long time no see.
Well, I'm trying. Oh, Terry. Good to see you. I haven't seen-
I'm still out of
Mr. Jones, would you turn their mic on, please?
Our next applicant on the agenda tonight is Jeremiah Smith, case number 22999-03, a variance to accessory building setback requirement for the property at 812 North Kiger Road. So do we have, you all want to show us your, the report from the staff, what they...
Mr. Crossley, can you turn the lights off again? Okay, this is the area, the vicinity map for the area. It shows the property there on the southwest corner of T.C. Lee and Kiger Road.
Mhm.
On the zoning map, this is the property. It appears to be half zoned R12 and R6.
Mhm.
Pretty much everything around there is residential of some form. This is the site. We're looking southeast across the property. I believe that's the applicant's house over there on the left.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, all right. And this is the property directly north of the site.
Okay.
And here we're looking east up the street, looking northwest across the street, and looking west down the street. Now, I believe the applicant's property is off to the left here.
Okay.
And this is looking southeast at the site. So the applicant's property is there. And the garage is kind of right there where that concrete area is here in the front, I believe.
Okay.
And this is the overhead view. You can see where the stream setback is, which is basically the unbuildable area. That's the applicant's garage that was no longer there, just south of where it says T.C. Lee Road. And here is a drawing provided by the applicant that shows basically the garage and so forth, another site plan basically. Wants to build it back on the same location, essentially.
Okay.
And if you have any questions.
Stuart, from what I read here, he wants to, if I'm correct, he wants to build it back on the slab where it was before.
Yes, that's my understanding. Brian actually worked on this case. I didn't, but that's my understanding.
Okay, thank you.
Did we get any calls on this particular one?
You know, I like I said, I didn't work on this case. I don't know if Brian did receive any calls. He didn't say that he did.
Okay. Okay.
Crosley, can you turn the lights on?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, any questions?
Well, you might state your name. You're the applicant.
Yes,
Are you
Jeremiah
Mr.
Smith.
Are you Jeremiah Smith?
Yes, 812 North Kiger.
Okay. And you want to, I guess, kind of give us what
I've
you have?
had a garage there. My dad bought the property almost 40 years ago. I've lived there for almost 30. He put it in my name just about 2 years ago. The only reason why I'm rebuilding it is a city water main break, about 12-inch water main break, put 5 feet of water inside that garage and just totally destroyed it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be, it'd still be there, but it's just, the water main, it's just destroyed it, and I had to have, it was laying over, I had to have it tore down, because otherwise it was gonna fall.
Right. So
And I'm
you
just wanting to put it right back where it was.
Okay, okay. Well, it sounds, was there any, did you all have any other questions? Looking over the recommendations from the city, the 6 by the staff, it looks like that, it looks like everything's pretty cool. I mean, it looks, everything's yes on the 1 through 6. So I think you're in good shape here. I don't really have any other questions. If you're going to rebuild right where it was, I mean, that doesn't sound
Nothing's
like
changing, so yeah.
I asked him. So you want to? Oh, okay. I asked if anybody called. He said no calls. I talked to Stuart. So, I got yes on all these. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's,
Well, I don't understand why he has to come before our board to build back what was there. I don't understand that.
is that some kind of ordinance?
Because it's supposed to be, the garage is supposed to be in line with the house. And right now,
I know,
it's,
but it was there and it was destroyed, and why?
because, well, they told me because of the
Well,
new
if
zoning
it's,
laws.
if it's, it was legal non-conforming before, and once it's gone, you have to build it
Because
in
it was
conformance.
gone. Okay, I got it. Okay, just curious.
Yeah, I went through all that too.
Okay, so in other words, basically, you're going to just rebuild it where it was. That's what
Yes.
we're saying, okay. I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion.
We're still in public hearing.
We've got a public hearing still.
We're still in public
Okay,
hearing.
so I don't have any more questions for you, Mr. Smith. Is there anyone else here that'd like to speak on behalf of the applicant? Anyone here that speak against this application? Being none here, I can go ahead and close it for the
Close the
public.
public hearing, yes.
I'm going to close the public hearing, and we'll make our decision here real soon. Okay. Yeah, we're
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. Now?
Yeah, you're going to make a motion, do I have?
Okay, I make a motion that we approve case number 122-999-03, a variance to the accessory building setback standards for 812 North Kiger Road.
Do I have a second?
That's as requested by the applicant. As requested by the applicant.
As requested by the applicant.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so now I guess we can vote, right? Roy Brown?
Yes.
Aaron Crossley?
Yes.
John
Davies?
Davies? Yes. And Jack, you better, because we're a little better headed. And Jack Lehman?
Yes.
And Robert Jones, yes. So case number 22-999-03, Jeremiah Smith, the applicant, has been approved unanimously. Thank you for coming. John, you better. You didn't hear this, but I'm getting, oh no, I'm not going to say it. Getting old. I'm not there yet. I'm still a young 77. That's right. Okay, so we got this approved.
Okay, if you can hang on just a second, let me change the screen here.
All right, so last on the last application on the applicant tonight is Bruce and Diana Carver, case number 22-999-04, a variance to the accessory building setback requirement for the property at 3301 South Bradford Lane. And so the city will, Stuart will give us a video of the.
Okay, yes. This is an application by the Carvers and their builder, actually, for variances to construct an accessory building in their side property on Bradford Lane in the Thornburg subdivision. This shows the location of the property out on, it's basically on the corner, southeast corner of Strode and Bradford Lane on the east, well, pretty southeast side of the city. This shows the zoning for the area is all RA zoning. This subdivision could predate the city's annexation of the area. I'm not really sure. It's older. It's an older subdivision, well-established area. This is the aerial photo that shows Strode Road on the top and Bradford Lane. That's the applicant's house there, and then the location, the approximate location of the garage. And that blue area to the right there is the stream buffer where they're not able to build a house, build any sort of building, including a garage. There's the applicant's plot plan that shows the, again, the design of the garage being a square 30 by 30 roughly area with a driveway and so forth, and then the stream buffer at the top of the drawing. This is the front of the applicant's house. Faces west generally. This is the area they want to, generally the area they want to build the garage. Can't see very well on this photo, but there are some some stakes out there with little red flags on them. This is a little better. You might be able to see them. That's the location of the garage. One is sort of in the shade here, and one's over there. So that's the sort of the location where you see it. This is the house that's immediately to the south. That electric meter or electric thing or a telephone box that's there here in the screen is the same one that is in this picture. Gives you a reference. So that little telephone box there, if you go two more over, that's from where it is. That's the house that's next to them. Here we're looking down Bradford Lane. We're looking across the pond, which is in front of the applicant's house. Bradford Lane creates kind of a circle drive around the pond there, and the entrance to the subdivision is off on the right side of the screen, just in front of where the truck is parked. This is the side of the property where the Strode Road is off to the left, as you can see there in the distance. That's a bridge that crosses over the creek that creates this floodplain stream buffer area. That's the applicant's house there. And that's, if you'd like to see any of those again, I can show them to you again if you. I'll just go back here. And the applicant is here to make a statement and answer any questions.
State your name and.
Dan Scott, I'm with Classic Buildings. I'm the
Okay.
contractor for the Carvers.
Okay.
So previously we had this down, you can see where that tree is, and it was in that, the dark blue area. We were informed because of the stream buffer, we could not build there. So it's really the only area that we could build. Stewart, or one of the city guys there, said if we just moved it forward, that would get it out of that area, but that it has a 25 feet setback from the side. Being the way, the way that property is, that 12 and 16, just, that's, or even if we go to 10, is that preferred? I don't know. Some distance shorter than 25 would be great. That's what we're after today.
Okay. All right. Is there any questions from the board here?
I mean, there's nowhere else on the property to build it. I mean, the other side is not conducive. You saw the driveway is going to come off the existing driveway. So.
I don't have any questions of the applicant.
I don't have any other questions. What about you?
I might have some favor because I sat next to you at the How to Fail Your Final yesterday or 2 days ago, Wednesday.
Pardon?
At the Johnson County.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I sat next to you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
We're continuing education classes.
Yeah.
Oh
There's no conflict of interest here because I didn't remember it. But I have a question for you, Stuart. I thought a few years ago that we were told that we have the right to make variances not to the floodplain, but to the stream buffer. Isn't that true?
Well, yeah, you'd be in the same position. He'd be here to trying to get a variance to put the thing in the stream buffer. So I think it would be better to place it here and out of there. So if there's any questions about if it's in the floodplain or not, that doesn't become an issue.
Okay.
Is there, I mean, I was told by, I don't know who the flood guy was, but the thing that didn't make sense to us is where it was placed previously. If that stream, which is a good 150 feet down, about 25 feet deep, if it were ever to come up, it's going to flood his basement before it ever touches the garage. So you know.
Okay.
Well, this isn't
But
about
he said it had nothing to do with flooding of
floodplain.
the house, it had to do with contaminating the water or something like that, so I just wanted to throw
It's a
that out
buffer
there.
that they like to have
Right.
from streams.
82
It's
feet or
not
something like that.
based on the floodplain, so.
But I mean, if we could get it in the original spot, we'd like that even more, but I decided to throw that out there. But if this is acceptable, we'll take that
I
as
mean,
well.
I'm not trying to upset the apple cart. I just was remembering that we had that authority as a board. If you wanted to move it 5 feet or something, I mean, into it, we might. But again, if you're okay with it here, then I don't want to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, well, that's
So-
what we're after, so.
Okay.
okay,
I gave up fighting on the other part.
okay, all right. I don't have any, does anybody have any other questions? I'm just looking at the review criteria, it's all yeses, 1 through 6. That makes it an easy one for us to,
Mr. Jones, we're still in public hearing, though.
okay. We are going to close for the
Well,
public
you
hearing.
didn't ask if there was anybody to speak.
Oh,
on
is there anyone here that's opposed to the application? Okay. But you're just here, did you want to talk before the board? You don't need to unless you want to.
We're here to support our neighbors.
Okay,
We're great with the idea.
okay. Well, then we can go ahead and close the public hearing and we'll make our decision. How's that? All right. So, what do you think, guys? I think we probably, do I have, we go ahead and discuss it, and I guess to me, it's pretty much a slam dunk, isn't it?
Let's just go on
Mr.
with it.
Chairman, I'll make a motion.
Oh, you gotta move it.
To-
If someone else wants to.
I want to, Jack. Can I do it for you? I want to do it this time.
Okay, go ahead, John.
All right, John.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve case number 22999-4, a variance to the accessory building setback standards for 301 South Bradford Lane as per the request of the applicant.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, now we can take the vote. How's that? Okay. Roy Brown,
Yes.
Aaron Crossley,
Yes.
John Davies,
Yes.
and Jack Lehman,
I vote yes.
and Bob Jones, yes. So, case number 22-999-04, the variance to accessory building setback standards for 3001 South Bradford Lane, Independence, Missouri, has been approved unanimously. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming out. All right, now we'll just do this by voice vote.
Oh, we still have another case, other business.
that's right, other business,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
We
Request for an extension of a fence variance for 3416 South Chrysler Avenue. Now what,
I
thank you for coming.
I don't have a slideshow or anything for this. The board can remember the board granted a variance for an applicant to put a 5-foot fence in his front yard there on Chrysler. Due to supply chain shortages and such, he has not been able to acquire the material. The fence company has not been able to acquire the material to put the fence up. His variance is basically expired now, but he applied to renew it. So the board has the authority to renew his variance for another 6 months.
Okay,
So-
okay. Do I have a,
I second it.
he so moved,
No, he moved there, I second.
and you seconded it, John did. So we have a vote.
Hang on just a minute. I didn't get the, who
Extension.
made the motion?
Do,
I made the motion.
he made the motion,
Okay.
seconded by John.
We got it all down here.
Boy, you got everything down there. You got a monopoly there. Okay. Okay, and we're going to have a vote on that request for extension of a fence variance on 3616 South Chrysler Avenue for, 6 months?
That's right.
Okay, Roy Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Crossley?
Yes.
Aaron Crossley? John
Davies?
Davies, yes. And Jack Lehman, yes. And Bob
Yes.
Jones, yes. So the request for the extension of a fence variance for 3416 South Chrysler Avenue has been approved.
Okay, now we have the.
Okay,
the
now we
minutes.
do the approval of the minutes from the last meeting on March the 7th. Oh, no, wait a minute, the last meeting on January the 20th, 2022. Do I have a, is this just going to be done verbally or whatever you want to call them? I'm just going to say those in favor of the minutes from the previous meeting from January 20th, 2022. Those in approve it, say yes.
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 Opposed? Like, and the yeses have it, so they have been approved from the meeting of January 20th. This meeting has been adjourned. 8:09. Good Lord.